Oh, happy Thursday. Today is March 23rd. Holy cow, the month is we're almost done with the quarter. Today we're talking about the Feds increased their rates again, COPA, we'll talk about that, and the fact that loans will get tighter. It's the normal thing. But first, no, we won't even go there. We'll go to the stuff afterwards. What does it mean that the Feds raised the rates again amidst all this turmoil about the banking crisis, Signature and Silicon Valley Bank? What happened? Why are we still continuing to raise rates? Because people continue to buy homes, because the market continues to buy stuff. I mean, we're buying consumer stuff all the time. We haven't really slowed down. Inflation isn't stopping. All the contractors I know right now are booked out months in advance. I had somebody talk about getting solar panels on their house and they got quoted $81,000. That's telling me that there's way too much demand for the supply that's out there. Now, understand it costs X to put the panels on, but when they're so booked out, they're like, if you want us to do it, this is what it's going to cost you. We can get the people, and I call it FU pricing. When the market is this good, contractors are so busy that they're not desperate. They're like, hey, if you want it, that's great. No problem. I'll take a deposit. I'll book you on this time, but this is the price. If you don't like it, you can go somewhere else. And that's everything everywhere all the time. And housing is doing it, which is why we're raising the rates a little bit, because we need to slow it down. And we're going to show you inventory starting to pop up again, and not to the point where there's zero consumption. It's still being done all over the place. I just mentioned yesterday, I think I mentioned the fact that my dentist is looking at homes in Omaha, Nebraska, and people are flocking to buy homes there because cost of living there is much more manageable than here in California, which is actually a good segue into COPA. Now, COPA, let me put my eyeballs on real quick. COPA is Community Opportunity Purchase Act. Let's get into this real quick. Community Opportunity to Purchase Act. All right, what does this mean? Let me read this to you. This is coming from now our Association of Realtors and why we believe this COPA is not a smart thing. And this is all San Jose. San Jose is trying to make it so that other nonprofits can buy property before we put it on market, and that hurts the open market. Now, this doesn't really matter for single family homes, but if you're an investor, a mom and pop investor, or just trying to start out and you're wanting to buy into San Jose as an investor, you're smarter to buy a multi-unit. And typically where you start off as an investor is you buy 2, 3, or 4 units because you're still protected under RESPA. As a consumer, you're not considered a professional investor. You're a consumer still. And that's where you start working it. And the idea is if you're renting 2 units, or you can live in 1 unit and have the other one help offset the price, then that's a smart move, right? It's better than just buying a single family home or a condo where you have to pay HOAs. So anyway, San Jose is trying to make it so that we make it more difficult for normal investors, regular investors, to buy property, which will inhibit capitalism, right? It will inhibit the price, the free structure, the open structure of the free market. So if you read through that, you're saying that it's a bad thing. If you're against it and you want to become an investor, you have to understand that this is going to affect you. If you're an investor, this is going to affect you. If you're an 18-unit apartment, these nonprofits can come in and take 120 days to decide if they're going to buy your apartment or not before you can put it on the open market. I don't see that is I don't think that's a fair way to trade, to open up trade. I don't think that's a fair thing for us to work at. Let alone Monday, this coming Monday, if you are an investor or you're thinking about becoming an investor and you feel activated enough, you can go and sit down with the council members downtown San Jose at 1:30 p.m. Here's the information right here. All the realtors are coming to oppose this. It's not going to be a demonstration. They're coming to voice their opinions, and that's basically it. So I'm not a fan of the government let me open this up so you can actually see this. There, that's a little bit better, right? I'm gonna move this so my head's over there. So I don't like it when governments interfere. I think the free market is, and yes, there's greed. I understand that. That's the counterbalance, right? There's got to be a fair play and fair trade everywhere, but you can't just hand people stuff, because what happens when you hand people stuff is they abuse it. For example, my aunt and uncle gave me a car when I was a kid. I was, 16 years old. The worst thing they could have ever done was hand me that car. It was a piece of crap. It was old. It was 20 years old. It's already on its last legs, but I never took care of it. I didn't care. I didn't have the gumption. I didn't have a father figure that taught me how to take care of cars. I didn't care. I didn't care about it. It's just something that I got in, drove it, and I drove it into the ground. And that's what happens when people are given stuff. You should have to struggle, but that's my opinion. Okay. Let's talk about loans getting more difficult. Loans, it's not just the rates anymore. It's going to be your reserves need to be higher. The risk that banks are taking right now are going to be forced down to make it more difficult. And it's not just because of the market. There's other things that are coming down the pike through FHA, through HUD, through government interference on the federal level, making it more difficult for lenders to make profit, but also do loans. And there's risky things that they have to do. And if they do something wrong, there's going to be massive fines for them. So now they're tightening up the screws on the top to make sure that they fall in line with these certain guidelines. And I can explain it to you, but it's really kind of boring. But the end result is it's going to make it far more difficult for the average American to buy homes because of government interference. So that's what's happening. And again, it might be all part of a plan to slow down the market. I completely understand that. But at the same time, it's better when we use associations like the National Association of Realtors and other organizations like that to regulate those within the community. I know that the National Association of Realtors is one of the largest lobbying unions in the United States. I think it's larger, the second largest next to NAR. I'm sorry, National Association of NRA. It's NRA and then NAR, National Rifle Association. So I'm not on board with everything that they do. I don't agree with everything they do. I think that there are certain things that they do that, and I don't pay into them. I do pay into their board members because my MLS requires it, but I don't support a lot of their decisions. I don't support a lot of things that California Association of Realtors does as well, nor do I do the same thing with SCORE, Santa Clara County Association of Realtors, which is why I stay away from the politics of that. I also stay away from the politics of the national and local stuff that's going on, stuff that you hear in the media. I hate being around that stuff. So anyway, let's talk about the market. Let me put my head over here real quick. Hang on a sec. Boink. Okay. Inventory. That is not right. Vito, typo right there. Half the cities that we're looking at right now, inventory is going up. And the ones that are in red, that means that they're going down. They're going down just slightly. Like Knoxville went down 4. Chattanooga went down less than 20, right? So inventory starting to increase, just like I said it would. It's just at the end of March. But remember, our selling season for the most part, in most of the United States, is March, April, May, right? Certain areas, like I think San Francisco, is actually the spring is when the fall when the hottest season is for them. But they're in their own little world right now. I don't exactly know what's going on with them, but that's just something to be aware of. Right now is when people are starting to look for their next home. This is the selling season where you're going to see more inventory hit the market. And right now, inventory is at a very, very low portion across everything. So volume, there's still homes being sold here and there. There's still homes being sold at lower rates, but not as many. Yesterday, we talked about over 60% of the homes in San Jose or Santa Clara County sold for over list price. I can tell you that right now to confirm that number. Yeah, 55%, right? That number has continued to grow over the last couple months. And it's going to continue to grow because the market is coming back. Everybody, all the news reports that I'm seeing, the market is being healthy again. The whole idea of that firestorm that we had for a couple of years, massive amount of velocity where people were struggling to buy homes. There were 27 offers on every house. Buyers got a little arrogant. Now it's normalized. We're getting back to a normal market, and it's a healthy thing for us to do. I can't tell you this enough. It's healthy for us to see the market slow down and see buyers take advantage of this market. So buyers are still out there, just not at the same velocity as what we were, but also our inventory is still pretty paltry. We needed to go back up to an area to where homes stay on market longer so that sellers aren't as, I don't want to use the term arrogant, but that's really the term, right? Because when you're used to getting 3 months free rent after close and as is, and I have $30,000 worth of termite damage, and you're going to take it, Mr. Buyer, and you're going to give me this, I'm going to sell this house with the idea of you're going to give me $400,000 over, that time is gone for now. We're seeing houses that are priced below where the market really is, and they get snapped up really quick because the market will acquire those. When it's priced too high, they're going to sit on market, right? But do I have it? No, I don't have it. Maybe I can save it. I didn't save it. So I didn't save it. But yesterday we saw houses that sold for 22% over list price. That's not natural. So what they did is they just lowered it down to where they knew they were going to get a lot of traction and eyeballs, and they got everybody's eyeballs, and they found the right buyer that was willing to say, hey, let's do the research. Let's find out what the actual value of that house is by doing a CMA. And a CMA is something as simple as this, right? You look at all the houses that are active right now, that are in contract right now, that have sold, or those are pending, and then these are the ones that have sold, and you come up with averages and you kind of understand what's going on. That's how you do it, right? That's how you look at homes and say, okay, what's the value? So if I was looking at this property, let's just take a look at this specific one, Hampton Road, which I sold a couple of years ago, right? 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's 100 years old. 1172 square feet. I go in and do my little numbers and research, and I come up with this. And yeah, values have dropped a little bit, right? That's okay. It will come back. But if I were to list it, I would say, hey, based on the condition, let's list it a little bit low so we can attract that market and see if we can get over. We don't control what buyers are going to pay. Sorry, I totally forgot. Hang on a sec. There you go. See, this is what a CMA looks like right here, right? These are active, contingent, pending. The difference between contingent and pending is we have contingencies in our contract. And if, in order to protect our buyers, they get to do their due diligence, and there's loan, appraisal, property condition, and the need to sell your house. And that's the general, and that gets more specific. After contingencies are done, the due diligence is done, it goes into pending. Sometimes they buy it as is, right? These ones right here have seen quite a little bit of attrition. But look, houses are still selling over list price. This one listed there. They said, hey, let's take a look at what the house is worth. It was worth probably $750, $760. Let's list it a little bit low, attract a bunch of eyeballs, sell it really quick. And the buyers that are in that pool, we're going to do these numbers right here. They're going to do the CMA right here, and they'll go off and do it. They're going to write the offer, and maybe they had 4, 5, 6 offers on it because they did list it low. When you come back and say, Beto, I want to be patient, I'll be patient. I think we can do this and see if we can go a little bit lower, if we'll accept offers that are a little bit lower. Well, that's great if you want to do that, but you're taking yourself out of a huge number of the market, right? A huge number of buyers are looking with that same mindset of, I can see this house, I know what the value is, I'm willing to pay a little bit more. Or they're going to look at a house that I have to have this number and it's overpriced. You're going to be on market for way too long, and then you're going to get frustrated, and then you're going to blame me. So I don't subscribe to that strategy. I think it's foolhardy, selfish, and greedy, and you're coming from a mindset of lack. So anyway, that's it. I'm out of here. Have a great weekend. We'll be back Monday. Have a great time. We'll see you out there.